She walked into the rehearsal dinner, and every fork stopped mid-air. My fiancé froze, my parents went pale, and the little girl standing beside her. She was staring straight at me. "That's her," my mother whispered. The room turned, accusing, confused, waiting, but they had no idea. This was the moment I had been waiting for. She walked into my rehearsal dinner holding a little girl's hand. And suddenly, the entire room went silent. I didn't even recognize her at first, but my parents did. Their faces changed instantly, like they had just seen something they weren't supposed to. My fiancé looked at me, confused, searching for answers I hadn't even been given yet. And then my mother said the words that made everything collapse in seconds. "That's the child she abandoned." I felt the air leave my chest. People started whispering. Eyes turned toward me, judging, questioning, already deciding who I'd dating. Already deciding who I was. But what hurt the most wasn't the accusation. It was how confidently my parents said it, like they had been preparing for this moment. And in that instant, I realized something terrifying. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was a setup. And what happened next would expose a truth none of them were ready for at all. I couldn't move. Not because I was guilty, but because I was trying to understand how something so absurd could feel so real in that moment. My fiancé slowly stepped back, her hand slipping out of mine as if distance could somehow protect her from whatever this situation was about to become. The little girl looked no older than 6. She clutched the woman's hand tightly, her eyes scanning the room until they landed on me again. There was no recognition in her expression, no connection, just confusion. But that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was how quickly everyone believed it. No one asked questions. One hesitated. It was as if my parents' words carried more truth than my entire existence. I tried to speak, but nothing came out. My throat felt locked, my thoughts scattered, my reality shifting under my feet. I didn't even know this child. I had never seen her before, and yet somehow I had just been turned into the villain of my own story. My mother stepped forward, placing a hand on the woman's shoulder like they shared some kind of understanding. "We didn't want to do this," she said loudly enough for everyone to hear, but she left us no choice. Her voice was calm, controlled, practiced. That's when it hit me. This wasn't spontaneous. This had been planned. But I didn't realize it yet. Not fully. Not until I looked at my father. He wasn't angry. He wasn't confused. He was watching me, carefully, like he was waiting for something. A reaction, a mistake, a collapse. But I gave him nothing. "Not yet. I don't know what this is." I finally managed to say, my voice quieter than I expected. My fiancé looked at me again, searching my face for something real, something solid. But doubt had already been planted. And doubt grows fast when it's fed by people you trust. "You don't remember her." My mother pressed, her tone shifting slightly, adding just enough disbelief to make it convincing. The room leaned in, waiting, judging. I shook my head slowly. "No," I said, and that one word felt like it cost me everything. The woman holding the child finally spoke. "I was told you would deny it," she said softly, almost apologetically. Her eyes met mine, and for a second, something flickered there. Not anger, not accusation, something else, something uncertain. But it disappeared quickly. "I didn't want to come here," she continued, "but they said it was the only way. To make things right," and my stomach dropped. My parents, I turned toward them, my heart pounding now. Not with fear, but with something sharper. Realization. "What did you tell her?" I asked, my voice steadier this time. My mother sighed, like she was tired of carrying a burden that wasn't hers. "We told her the truth," she replied. But her version of the truth was a lie so carefully constructed. It almost sounded believable. But that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was what this was doing to the one person I couldn't afford to lose. My fiancé took another step back, her arms crossing as if she needed something to hold on to. "Is there anything you want to tell me?" she asked, her voice. But distant. That distance hurt more than the accusation itself. 'Cause it meant she wasn't sure who I was anymore. I've never seen that child in my life. Queta. Now clearer. And I have no idea why they're saying this. My words hung in the air, but they didn't land the way I needed them to. Because lies, when told with confidence, often sound more convincing than truth spoken in shock. I didn't realize it yet, but everything was about to change. Not because of what I said, but because of what someone else was about to reveal. Little girl tugged at the woman's hand. "Can we go?" she whispered. Her voice was small, uncertain, and in that moment something shifted again. Because whatever this was, she didn't belong in it. She wasn't part of the lie. She was caught inside it, and that's when I noticed something I had missed before. The woman's hesitation, the way her eyes kept moving between me and my parents. Like she wasn't fully convinced either, okay? Like she was following a script she didn't completely understand. That's when I knew. This wasn't just an accusation. This was something deeper, something planned, and I was about to find out why. I took a step forward, ignoring the tension, tightening the room. "Who told you I was the mother?" I asked the woman directly. My parents immediately tried to interrupt, but I raised my hand slightly. "No." Let her answer. The room shifted again. The control they had held just seconds ago was starting to slip. The woman hesitated. Then, slowly, she looked at my parents. That was all the answer I needed. But I wanted everyone else to see it too. "Say it," I pressed gently. Her voice was quiet when she spoke. They did. A ripple moved through the room, small but noticeable. Doubt had just changed direction. My father stepped forward quickly. "She's confused," he said firmly. We were trying to help her find the truth. But his tone had lost something: confidence, control. And once that cracks, everything else follows. "That's interesting," I said, pulling my phone out slowly. Because I've been trying to understand something too. My hands were steady now, not shaking, not unsure. 'Cause I had spent years learning one thing: truth doesn't need to rush, it just needs the right moment. I opened a folder. Everything changed. Before tonight, I continued, my voice calm. I didn't know why my parents were so determined to ruin this wedding. The room leaned in again, but this time it wasn't for them. It was for me. I didn't realize it yet, but everything was about to change. I repeated softly, almost to myself. I played the first recording. My mother's voice filled the room, clear, undeniable. "She can't get married," she said. "She leaves, everything we've built falls apart." Silence. Complete silence. I played the second recording. "My father this time, we just need something strong enough. Something that makes him walk away. Shift." People looked at them now, not at me, at them. The third file was shorter, but heavier. "If she won't stay, we'll make sure she has no choice." And that was it. No more was needed. It's because truth, when it finally shows up, doesn't need to explain itself. It just exists. My fiancé stepped forward slowly. Not away from me this time. Toward me. Her eyes weren't confused anymore. They were clear, focused. "You recorded them?" she asked quietly. I didn't know when I would need it, I admitted. But I knew something wasn't right. My parents tried to speak, but no one was listening anymore, 'cause the story had changed. And for the first time that night, it wasn't controlled by them, was controlled by truth. The woman holding the child looked shaken. "You told me she abandoned her," she said, her voice trembling now at me, but at them. My mother didn't answer. She couldn't, because lies can be loud, but truth is quiet and permanent. The little girl looked up at me again, but this time her eyes weren't confused. They were soft, like she understood something had just ended, and something else had begun. That night didn't just clear my name. It revealed everything they had tried to hide. And in doing so, it gave me something I never had before. Control over my own story. What would you do if the people you trusted most tried to destroy your life with a lie this big? Would you stay silent and hope the truth comes out on its own? Or would you fight back, even if it meant exposing everything? Moments like this don't just test your strength. They redefine it. If you've ever been misunderstood, falsely accused, or betrayed by people you never expected, share your experience in the comments. You're not alone, even when it feels like it. And if this story made you feel something, anger, relief, or even validation, make sure to subscribe. Because there are more stories like this coming. Real, emotional, and powerful. Sometimes, the truth doesn't just set you free. Sometimes it rebuilds you completely. And the next story might feel closer to your life than you think.